I cheated.
Can I let go of the button or?
It should just be showing.
There we go.
green.
Got it. Yeah, I have to be told go.
I find most of the time we're waiting, we are actually live.
No cussing, commission, no cussing words. All righty, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to welcome you to the City of Westminster Historic District Commission. We are Wednesday, March 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And surprise, we're at Exploration Commons in the Westminster branch of the Public Library at 50 East Main Street, Westminster, Maryland. And I'm going to start with our statement of authority. The Westminster Historic District Commission derives its authority from Chapter 164, Article 9A of the City Code, which is authorized by the Maryland Code Annotated Land Use Division 1, Single Jurisdiction Planning and Zoning, Title 8, Historic Preservation. The qualifications of the Westminster Historic District Commission are on file at the City Administration Building at 45 West Main Street, and the file is open to the public. I'll also do a quick roll call. So this evening,
Grace Kelly Lawler, Commissioner.
Kathy Beatty.
and Chris McMaster's chair. So we do have a quorum, but no one can leave, sneeze, or step out. This is it. We need us. All righty, let's look at our first item on the agenda, and that is approval of the minutes from October 2nd. Have you guys had a chance to look it over, and can I entertain a motion to accept October 2nd's minutes?
I move to accept.
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes from October 2nd?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. So likewise, I'll ask you about December 4th minutes. I hope you've had a chance to review them. And could I entertain a motion to accept the December 4th minutes?
I move to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Kathy.
Second.
Thank you, Grace. So we've had a motion to accept the minutes and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. They have passed. I appreciate all your hard work to Melissa with our staff. Okay, great. Next, we'll move on to new business. Item A, facade improvement application for 205 East Main Street. Ms. Thorne's name is on here as staff, so we will ask her to please introduce this to us.
All right, thank you. Here tonight, we have an application for our facade improvement program for 205 East Main Street. A little background on our facade program. We were funded $150,000 through a grant awarded by the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. And this program offers matching grant funds to downtown property owners within the Sustainable Communities Designated Area, which encompasses the Westminster Historic District, in order to improve the appearance of these buildings, facades, signs, or awnings. And the goal of the program is to leverage private improvements while making our revitalization efforts affordable, creative, and community-based. Grant money will be allocated at the sole discretion of the City of Westminster, subject to approval of submitted applications to the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development and the Maryland Historic Trust. In our packet here, we've included guidelines for the program as attachment number 1. Fiscal year 25 program funds have already been allocated to 4 projects: 60 West Main Street, 62 to 64 West Main Street, 31 West Main Street rear, and 4 West Main Street. And they've all been through this body here for that approval and allocation. So the total amount of funding reserved for those projects is at $130,951. And the remaining funds for any requests are at $19,049. So here tonight we have Deb Brown and other representatives from Brown Plus. She was able to submit a facade improvement application to our department on February 7th, 2025. The commercial building is owned by BSSF Properties. It's 10,000, just under 200 square feet, built in 1940 according to the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. And Brown Plus shares a common ownership with BSSF Properties LLC. The business is an accounting and advisory firm, and they are currently experiencing issues created by moisture seeping through the exterior cracks and openings from wear and tear over the years. The application that you see tonight reflects their goal to rehabilitate the building using materials similar to the existing structure. The funding requested from their application is 50% of the eligible funding match available. The proposed project start date is April or May of 2025, with the completion estimated for October or November of this year. The applicant received quotes from JFJ and Sons Construction, Restoration and Remodeling LLC and Tackett Construction Incorporated. The applicant authorizes JFJ and Sons Construction, Restoration and Remodeling LLC to perform the improvements. I've provided a project description in our packet here, just as a general overview. They will be removing the existing damaged and loose bulging ephes. They're checking for rod and sheathing, replacing if necessary. They're removing 6 inches of ephes above the brick after table, installing L flashing, removing some old and failing caulk and backer rods, installing caulking primer, and doing this where the ephes meets the windows, doors, utility penetrations, vertical or horizontal joints, intersections with brick, and anywhere the ephes terminates. Removing finish and paint, approximately only 10%, of all sounds existing ephes around the areas of repair, patching and repair only prior to installing the system, installing an aqua flash and aqua mesh in certain joints, lightly grinding surrounding edges to tie into the new system, rebuilding ephes where it has been removed or missing sections, installing an EPS foam as needed, installing a base coat with a fiber mesh embedded over the newly installed EPS foam on the front, rear, and side walls, and then applying 2 layers of closely matched stucco paint onto the dental molding trim. So tonight I'm asking, thank you for listening to all of this. The commission should base their review of this application and decide on the appropriate funding level. We do have criteria, estimating the increase of the property value after the project is completed, the extent of historic preservation made to the building, the percentage of private investment versus public investment, whether the project will be completed within a 6-month time frame, and if the applicant is a first-time grant applicant with this program, and they are. Also base your guideline on of course, the program overview, which is attached to the staff report. And I have also provided suggested motions per our previous discussions in this. City staff recommends the Historic District Commission review the attached facade improvement application and recommend the funding level for the project. The project recommendation will then be sent to the Department of Housing and Community Development for review by the Maryland Historical Trust. And on page 3 of 3, we have suggested motions, which I will let you read. Please let me know if you have any questions. And also, as you can see, we have the applicant and representatives here tonight. If there's anything you'd like to add or questions, thanks.
Yeah, normally I do ask if the applicant has any corrections, if Melissa has presented your project adequately, if there was anything incorrect or something we should know, now's a good time.
Really did read a lot there, didn't I? Thank you very much. Please, just a reminder to speak in the microphone.
All right. Also, I just have a single question or two. I'm curious what's actually behind that stucco. Do you know what's behind that facing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mhm. Would it be too much of an imposition to request that you record some of the removal so we can see if it's like a cinder block or if it's a brick or if it's a log cabin, for heaven's sakes? It would be great for us to know. I think that would really be important for the record for us, and then you can, do they do a follow-up final report, Melissa, in order to capture their funds? Okay.
Staff departmental review for this program.
It would be great if we could find a way to attach that information either to that, or I might be jumping ahead with the next portion. But I just think for us to be in the know of what that structure really is underneath would be great. You know, it's not often, and you don't usually get allowed a sledgehammer to go just look around at a building. So, this is a great chance.
So I don't know.
This is an approval action by the HPCC, can certainly add conditions, so it could be approval subject to funding being available upon, submission of the.
That would be great.
It's good that therefore it's documented in the minutes too, in the report, so, yeah.
I would love to make that just a simple condition, finalizing. Great.
Track staff as
Great.
well.
You always wonder, and you can't tell really unless I go in the basement. Sometimes I can tell in the basement too, but this is a little bit like a person going into surgery. You don't get to see under the cover very often, under the hood. Yeah. Yeah. Do our other commissioners have any questions or concerns? Hearing none, then I'll ask for our motions here. So I'll ask for a motion that states that the property is an eligible property and the proposed work as outlined in attachment number 1 qualifies as eligible work. Do we have a motion to that effect?
Sure.
Ms. Beatty, thank you. And do we have a second
Second.
from Grace? Okay, great. All in favor, those who agree that the property is an eligible property and the proposed work as outlined in attachment 1 qualifies?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, then we'll move on to looking at the estimates and seeing if they're basically reasonable. And I will look for a motion to accept that these estimates are both reasonable for the type of work being proposed.
I move that these estimates are reasonable,
Acceptable, I think.
acceptable, proposed.
And do we have a second? I have a second from Kathy. Great. All in favor of accepting these estimates for consideration?
Aye.
Great. All right, so now we move on to the last part of the process, which is to approve the certificate of eligibility for the historic tax credits in the amount of 10%. And so that would be $8,924. Oop. Did I pick the wrong one? This one looks like our tax credit package, pretty.
Hey, this one. This
Yeah, I
one.
got it. It should be,
This is minutes. Hold on. It snuck under there. Try again. That's okay. You're doing good.
Okay, good.
They should all be there.
They're similar. All right, so did we Did well, we got the fact it's eligible. We got the fact we like the budgets, and back to, do we approve the remaining available facade improvement funds up to $19,000 for the facade improvement program for application for 205 East Main Street for the restoration of the exterior as detailed from the proposal from JFJ Sons Construction, Restoration and Remodeling LLC.
So you're proposing the first motion that's there.
Yeah, that it be accepted. That's my shorthand.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Beatty.
I'll second.
Thank you, Grace. So all willing to approve the $19,000 funds? Please indicate, and $49. Please indicate by saying aye. Thank you. So it's a consensus and this motion is approved. And thank you very much. All right, well then let's move on to what I thought I was doing. The tax credit. Here's the tax credit form. And here's the tax credit overview. So that's the next item B. And Ms. Thorne, would you like to present?
Sure. So the project is the exact same. We're simply asking for tax credit in addition to the facade improvement program. As far as program funding, this is completely separate, of course. This is based on 10% of the eligible funds. The quotes are the exact same: JFJ and Sons Construction, Restoration and Remodeling LLC, and Tackett Construction, Inc. Both of the quotes are from licensed contractors. You've actually already put two motions on the table that shares that the work is, number one, eligible, and number two, that the work detailed in the quotes is eligible. So my recommendation would be to take a look at page 3 of the staff report and discuss the possibility of recommendation for number 3, eligible, and the actual amount of the tax credit, which is listed in number 4, 3 and 4. Take a look at that. And again, if you have any questions, or if anyone has any questions on the program, the tax credit requirements, this is the pre-construction application. So whatever is approved tonight will be the green light for the project. And then after the project is completed, that will be bring back your the actual project costs and bring them back to this board, and they will approve the final award amount. We always ask that if the work is more expensive for anything, just to come talk to us beforehand, so we can figure that out.
Yeah, give us an opportunity. If you think you'll be exceeding what we've already approved, give us an opportunity to consider the expanded cost. All righty, so this is interesting to be in a situation where we've already decided on a previous tag about the eligibility and the proposed work as outlined. I'm going to ask our homeowners or building owners, so far, are you following what we're saying and doing? And are we in agreement with what you're proposing for a tax credit? She's good, isn't she? Melissa knows
It's very
what she's
kind to
doing.
say.
Yes. All righty. So commissioners, let's look at number 3 of the recommendations from the city. We're being asked to approve the estimated project cost of $89,244 from JFJ Sons Construction and Restoration Remodeling LLC, or $94,740 from Tackett Construction, or any other amount as determined by the commission that is accurate and acceptable. Do we have a motion to that? Approve that? Let's just hit 3 and get it done. And then we'll move to number 4.
You could combine the two even if you wanted. to pick one of the amounts. So like picking 89,244,000. Yeah, 89,244 to approve and grant, and then roll into 4.
Yeah.
You could read them both side by side if you wanted to.
Or we could do a motion that hits both 3 and 4 at the same time. Basically, 3 is just saying that both estimates are good, and if we had a better estimate, we could slide it in as well for consideration. 4 is just saying which one we're selecting. Oh, it does. But
These are
just-
suggested motions. You can make your own up if you'd like.
yeah. Well, do we have a motion one way or another?
Recommendation number 4.
All right, do we have a second? All right, on the floor is a recommendation number 4 as a motion to approve and grant the certificate of eligibility of a historic tax credit in the amount of 10% up to $8,924.40 to JFJ Sons Construction Restoration Remodeling. And we stop there, right? Okay. All in favor? It's passed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You don't have to stay here on the claim.
Thank you.
That was the point where you were holding your breath. Good. I'd love for you to tell your friends and neighbors who have construction ahead that, you know, if they're in the district, we're interested in being helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to know what's under there. I always thought it was brick under there. The brick building on that spot.
Thank you. I live close enough to walk over and take a look, so I might be snooping around anyway. All righty. As far as old business goes, we don't have anything listed. So I think we move on now to the Historic District Commission Implementation Plan. Do we have any report on that, Melissa?
We have not moved forward with the request for proposals. It is in the same loop it was in last.
Are we in danger of losing this funding?
We're getting anxious
It-
ourselves. We need to get it out.
You guys should just keep that one.
We've done everything we can do at our staff level, and we are just encouraging the project to get its completed review so that we're hopeful again that it'll be something that'll open up soon. We're currently in the budget season, and we were able to share other grant opportunities. So I'm hopeful that it'll be right on time now, that we'll be able to allow this to continue, that we can finish the implementation plan, this section of the implementation plan. Perhaps next month I could reprint or something, that big long chart.
That
And
would be
so
great.
it might be a good time to refresh what else is out there too.
Absolutely. So we can be
Moving
moving
forward.
on several paths.
Yeah,
That would be
we
great.
can talk in between the meeting to discuss too.
Good, good, good. Okay, thank you. All right, well, let's move on to the nation's 250th anniversary, and we have some ongoing items, and some of these are my favorites. So I'm wondering, how are we doing with the historic signs?
The entrance signs,
Street signs.
the street signs. So it's just still, my guess is we're not going to hear much about that soon. We're in the midst of the budget cycle, and Public Works is going through their budget, so everything, as you can imagine. The request is out there for, looking for costs and bids for those. We'll check this. Maybe they've already at least sent out flyers, potential costs, and they may have done. They're really good, so we'll double check to see if at least maybe they've reached out to some agencies or some firms to see about cost.
Great. Be good to just let them know we're still
Yeah.
highly interested.
Yep. Yeah.
Highly
Yeah.
interested.
We've informed them of everything that we're trying to do, as well as the entrance signs also. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was the next topic. The entrance signs are sort of in that same
We-
situation.
we have some funding for the entrance signs. We still need to nail down. So we were here last time and the HCC didn't like the picture of City Hall.
Mm.
Um, so we kind of liked at least something there. The reason there was something that we talked about and added because we wanted a different shape of the sign. It allows that little bump, so
Mhm,
it's just not a
mhm.
rectangular sign.
Mm-hmm,
Um, if we got rid of the picture, are you okay with the design of it? We can still have, I just didn't want a standard rectangular square sign. So that's why we added that element. And we also the thought was every entrance one might be City Hall, one might be the bell tower or the clock tower, one might, and every entrance you might see a different picture of a different element. But if we don't want the picture, it's fine. We just want a nicer looking design so it catches your eye. It doesn't look like a standard street sign. So we
Did
like the
talk
shape.
about putting the city seal up in that bump?
That's right. Yeah, the city seal potential.
It's on the very bottom of the
Yeah.
design.
But I thought we were going to flip it up so we gave a little more room to the wording.
Okay, we can do that.
Do you
But
guys remember that, or am I making it up?
For driving, they're not gonna have time to
Yeah.
really see what that little picture is.
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and just get the logo up there.
Yeah.
And then that leaves more room for text. And frankly, maybe even more brain bandwidth because
Yeah.
there's just the text to really look at. But
Okay.
I
And
don't think we're adverse to anything else, but I think this seemed like a real direct way to do it.
yeah. Okay. No, so I think the next step is we just got one quote and it was somewhat high. I think Melissa was thinking about reaching out to another sign person for cost. The big thing, which is that the design of it, but if the city seal works and we like the ornamental portion of the bottom as well. Okay.
Yeah, we did. And I think, as I recall, I like the idea of giving it just a little more breathing space for the words.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bigger in font so that it's
Okay.
big and bold.
Okay. So I think we have better, yep. Okay.
We'll give it a try anyway.
So I think you reach out to the original one to redo the sign, add the seal, work on the wording. Let's see how that looks. And we have a template for another request for cost. Okay.
All righty. What else is next? Commemoration plaques for Revolutionary War homes. How are we doing on that?
I have to work on that. I was going to look for something of the same design
Mhm.
as what enters. So maybe whoever you order that from, they might do the same kind of sign in a smaller size. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, my thought was it's probably, not going to have anything specific like the name of the home or anything, but just be a commemorative plaque that a select group of buildings actually receives. 20, 30, whatever we have left, still today that we could commemorate. They'd be a little like the other bicentennial seals that they had in 1976, which were basically all the same looking, but they've created a cohesive message that this is the oldest part of town and these things are left. And I think we also agreed that it's any structure that could have made it in the Revolution, whether it's in the historic district or not. So I think you made that list.
That would
You
include
did.
White's Level.
Yeah.
Long Farm.
Rips Mill.
Side of this- all-
And how about that tavern or the tea house over by the hospital? That's White's Level. Oh, okay.
Is there a consideration for in city limits, at least for those plaques?
Yeah.
Okay.
They will, those three structures. It was annexed.
Roops is in the city.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about White's Level, to be honest. It's so odd, our boundaries. Yeah.
Boundary line.
Yeah.
It's just
I'll look.
We can, we'll consider, but do you have an example or picture of what the bicentennial signs were?
We did have a suite of signs from, like a year ago. Yes. And I was just thinking like a little brass medallion. so
Like the
that's-
ones you see from the National Register
Right.
House or something like that, yeah.
And those, I have one in my house. It's actually pretty big and wordy.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of something about the third of that size.
Okay.
Okay. And something that, just says basically Westminster Historic District 250th commemoration. Special building.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But Kathy can help us think of some
Yeah.
sign words.
Because I think you'd want to, the significance of signs, the building was.
This building
has
stood.
Stood since,
Yeah,
That's a good, yeah.
250 or more years, something like that, so, yeah.
and why this building and not the one next to it.
Yeah.
Can I get you to repeat, or Grace is taking copious notes over there. But I'm wondering too, Grace, we could share at least one of the quote space here with the same company. I can give you their information and we can work towards.
I like this building has stood since, or
But this building witnessed the revolution.
perfect.
This building what?
Witness.
This building witnessed the revolution.
Up at
I like that
Gettysburg,
too.
there's a witness tree program. And trees that were standing during the battle are called witness trees. So this is witness buildings. They witnessed the revolution.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love it too. Okay, anything else on commemorative plaques? Okay, I can tell you a little bit about the commemorative sign at Belgrove Square. Our ladies with the DAR have not quite organized. We're going to have an organizing meeting to approach the city to organize, and we haven't organized the organizing meeting. So, we're all busy girls. So
Mhm.
we're working on it. But we will
Yep.
be approaching the city, sit down and talk about what happens next, because this is going to be simple. We order the stinking sign and it gets put in. So, all right. Next, the proclamation that, how, yes. We have to get that on the docket. Are we going to do one for May, basically looking forward to the 250th this year? And say,
Yes.
this is our year to prepare. We proclaim the 250th coming up in 2026 and we are prepping it.
Yes. So put a placeholder in your calendars for April, the fourth Monday in April. It's not a holiday day, which I'm actually not sure. I think Easter's really close to that date. Should be the 28th. Okay. So that's a potential day for that proclamation at the council.
It would be great to do it with council and just before Preservation Month, May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we somehow ended up proclaiming May Preservation Month in June. So this year, we're going to do it in advance. That would be great. I like that. Hear ye, hear ye. Do it in ye old
I don't know if that-
Revolutionary War proclamation.
I don't know if that was a joke or not, but you should absolutely look into that if you have contacts for them, because that would be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who dresses up like William Winchester? Is Dean Camlin. I wonder if Dean would be willing to be at least ye old crier for a photo op, if nothing else.
Yeah. That'd be neat.
That would be neat. He'd sing it, yeah. He's got the whole William Winchester look in his closet. Yeah, he'd just have to coordinate that Monday. He could come into the council. I have one of those really old school bells. It's not the right time period, but only Kathy will know that. Bing, ring, ring. It's like an old school bell, huge, loud, just obnoxious. Oh, a plan is beginning to spike. And we'll know by their faces whether they watch our meetings or not.
Yeah.
If they're surprised. I love it. Okay, Liberty Tree plaque. I guess that's sort of going to be in with the house plaques probably, so it all has that same look.
We're to follow up on all these and event programming, I saw was the next one. We need to share with you all our suggested ideas for tying these in and the dates that they're tied in. They have been drafted. The goal was to get it on a pretty branded card to bring to you. That hasn't happened yet. But essentially it incorporates the street signs, the entrance signs, even the banners and bunting for downtown, the commemoration plaque on the homes with like a walking tour, the sign in Belgrove Square, aligned with the same time we usually have our Westminster Municipal Band already there. The proclamation certainly occurring again, and again with the Liberty Tree plaque. The thought there is to combine that with potentially any event we have up there at City Hall. So Corbett's Charge or the Arts in the Park in the summertime and working with that group. So generally speaking, I think we were in agreement with that as well. As far as a parade goes, if you all are, you know,
I just don't think we have the manpower.
yeah,
for
if
it.
you all
It's
are
just-
kind of in that thought process, as far as budget goes as well, it's extra resources for our city staff to be there. But
I mean, I'd love to, and it really makes a lot of sense, but I just don't see us having enough of our own manpower. In my chit chatting, I thought I understood we needed 5 individuals who would be dedicated to doing this. And it's like, that would mean all of us doing pretty much nothing else. And
Mhm.
I just can't see it.
mm-hmm,
Plus, I'm a little worried about the schools being out in the summer. How do you get school bands and things?
mm-hmm,
You know, you might get civic groups because they work year round, but the music part of the bands, they're something you really look forward to.
Mhm.
Although the municipal band might be the only one that doesn't have that school schedule.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've kind of lost heart on the
And that
parade.
was, and it really was one of the comments from the state is they wanted to see something else creative done in each of our communities to celebrate. And I think that was even said, the parade, do something else kind of, or do something in addition if you're going to. So, I don't think we're going to be docked points if there's anybody out there docking points. But it's really up to this board and the body to determine what are those things, that maybe we haven't touched upon yet. So, but we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah,
as
I'd
it
be
is.
happy to get some feedback from the mayor and common council. Maybe I'm throwing in the towel prematurely. Maybe if they really want a parade, we can refocus. It would be great to get some feedback.
Okay.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Yes.
I did order pens with our new logo on them. So when they arrive, hopefully they'll be here by April. I will bring you each some pens.
That would be great
Step
because I haven't
one.
bought a pen since like 1972.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
That would be great. Okay, so it's time for our Historic District Commission and public comments. And I'm going to start with Kathy.
You want to update them on the history fair? Chris and I were at the Carroll County History Expo for History Day just this past Saturday, and it was great. There were a lot of kids this year. They had some really interesting topics for their papers and projects. We gave away all of our stress bricks. They were really popular. In fact, I had kids coming up and going, "Well, they got one, but I didn't get one." I'm like, "Here you go, have one." You know, it's like- so everybody really, really loved them. They were great. The scavenger hunt was fun, although I didn't know about it ahead of time. So that when the first kid came up and said, "Can you sign this?" I'm like, "What am I signing?" Uh, yeah. So, but I think, you know, if we'd known in advance, maybe we'd have had a couple questions for him to answer or something. But you know, we were basically asking him about what did you research, did you like it, that kind of thing, and then signing off on him. So, I think it went well. I think everybody had a good time.
Grace, do you have any comments for this month?
I do not have any comments for this month. I'm sad I missed it on Saturday.
I have to say, I had so much fun. That is where I'm at my element, is talking to a kid about abolition and then saying, yeah, that was tough in World War II, wasn't it? And having them correct me. I just love that. Almost got a few elbows from her. And it's like, I know. I'm just testing the kid.
This is on the WASP. Pilots during World War II, and she asked him about the pilots during the Civil War. And I was like, I know we got up early this morning, but is that me or you? I'm confused here. You just stood there like, oh, do I tell her she's wrong or?
I was trying to get them to tell me I was wrong. I was being as nice about it and as, not combative, like I'm the history expert, just kind of casually sliding in. Yeah, that was tough during World War II, just,
No, catch me if I'm saying something incorrect.
Yeah.
And it's explaining, so they're paying attention to see how to catch you. Yeah.
mhm, mhm. It was a way to get them to start talking. Sometimes I'd ask them, well, where did you find out all this information? One of them was talking about women voting in town here. And I said, well, did you research Mary Shellman? She says, oh yeah. And I said, did you know you can go into her house on Main Street? And she had no idea. And to me, it's like, wow, after all that research, to walk into Mary Shellman's house would make it a pleasure. Like, the paper's done now, kid. You may want to actually see where this lady lived and where she trained people on how to vote. So to me, that was pretty exciting. It was fun. And I'm hoping that we stick with that scatter hunt, because what it did is every kid had a motivation to stop at every table and talk, not just grab stuff and talk. And so that I loved it. I didn't know about it in advance either. And we could have probably had a little stamp of some sort or a sticker. That would have been nice. But we just signed HCD. Stickers, yeah. Just, we can make up little stickers, we don't have to pay for them, but that's simple. So,
Gold stars.
little stars. And I don't think so, but I love the idea you can find them. All right, so this really enlivens me to think about the Flower and Jazz Festival coming up in May. Next month, we ought to be sure we have the sign-up sheet, right? Because next month's April. So we need that sign-up sheet next month for Flower and Jazz. And yep, I'm hoping those pens are in, and anything else, stress balls or whatever you plan on getting, because they're so popular. And ooh, I had one more thing. Mhm.
Didn't Stan do a scavenger hunt of downtown architecture?
So years ago, Dean Camlin actually came up with several scavenger hunts. Our first one was Civil War, and it was various places down in the historic district where there was Civil War vestiges. And One stop was the Westminster Cemetery, because there was a Civil War wounded were in the church that used to be there. And I had so much fun watching people walk around and stand in the middle of Church Street and Winter Street and almost get hit by cars because they're trying to orient themselves and figure out where the cemetery is and where that church was. So that was great. And then he did one on History's Looking Up, and it was architecture up high where you wouldn't normally look. And another one was like History's the Foundation, and it was all stuff like the boot scrape and the carriage step and places throughout town that have historic vestiges on the ground you might not know. We had great cooperation with Carroll County Times, and in one of their supplements each year, they printed a 2-page fold out for free to everybody who got the Carroll County Times. And so that was something we always did in May as a preservation thing. And then he took all the artwork from the key that was printed in the Times and made them into posters. And for a while there, we were giving those posters out to people at the Flower and Jazz Festival that didn't get the Carroll County paper. So it was great while it lasted, but then the Times changed hands and didn't want to publish it anymore. And so, maybe, I don't know, maybe we have a digital presence that's big enough that we could do something like that only on our website at some point. It's something that we shouldn't forget because it was a lot of fun. And then you got the whole key was that at the end you filled out all the answers and you turned it into City Hall, and they had a big jar, and the mayor pulled out like 2. And we even, one year, I think we gave away bikes from Pace. I mean, it was a big deal. We had big prizes we gave away from that drawing out from the accurate answers.
Because everybody's on Main Street for Flower Jazz Fest. And if you can get them to look up at the buildings, hard to see the ground with all the booths and stuff, but you can get them, you're right on Main Street. Here's the historic elements.
And get them to look up at the buildings and appreciate the architecture. Maybe there's an easier way other than the huge poster size thing. Maybe there's a 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 size that we could print in house or something. But just something that we could give people, because everybody likes the historic pictures. Or maybe we could get some historic pictures, put them in page protectors in a binder and let people look at them. And we gave away a ton of the walking tours on Saturday too. So, but just a lot of those people at Flower and Jazz Fest aren't from Westminster. So if we can get them enthused about the architecture while they're there on the street, that'd be a fun thing to do.
And it keeps the kids off the phones.
Well, maybe a 1-pager would be possible with just 5 or 6 things to find. And I will say also, when we were giving away those brochures, they were almost all to the kids who were talking to us because they were engaging. And strangely enough, I had to actually open the brochure and show them the historic building for them to light up. Just, here's the brochure. Didn't trip the trigger, but when you opened it and showed historic buildings inside for free that you can walk to while you're downtown, they lit up. And I don't know, I guess we come from a brochure age where we would know you have to open it to see what's inside. But I found it an interesting gap that we had to do. So anyway, well, let's keep that thinking cap on and think about that for Flower and Jazz. We could pull that together probably. Let me see what we can do. Well, do we have any little giveaway items?
So for the event, I have reached out to a company who will do custom ones, and they said they will respond within 24 hours. This was an email kind of exchange. I'm hoping to do one of the clock tower next. We're talking about like the stress squeezies giveaways. So we sort of have a collection now. I know you said we gave away all of them, but we still have some held back. So we have the, if you will, a bit of a collector's item. So I'd really rather not order more bricks unless we really want to, but keep kind of bouncing around until we run out of ideas, and then maybe we restock them.
I like the clock tower. Squeeze the clock tower. You would
Mhm.
never do that to a clock.
Oh, yeah, but
That's just like the idea of the brick. You would never crush a brick.
so
that, have to get it when it's there,
Mm-hmm.
come to this event and then you'll get it for free. So we're looking at, I don't have the date in front of me. Let's see, May, is it the 10th?
It would be
I think
Saturday.
it's Saturday, May 10th is I think when the Flower and Jazz event is. Yeah, so if there's something that you could put together for that one pager or whatever it is, we
Kathy
could
will work with me on it for sure.
have something printed in-house or
It could be
locally.
simple.
Yeah, that we could prepare or have up on as like a QR code scan if you had to. Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
done before though.
Mhm.
So I would hope we have something about a scavenger.
Right, we can look and see.
Files too,
but
just
if-
do a quick search and scavenger hunt to see if we have anything else.
See if you have anything left.
Yes.
I'm a pack rat, so I might still have that stuff, but it's not in good order. So that's.
But if you had it and you could scan it or take a picture or drop it off, we could recreate it. Pretty confident in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All righty. So as for anything else, just under the 250th category, did I mention? Probably not. With the Westminster Cemetery, we're trying to mark our 3 patriots that are there with the William G. Pomeroy Foundation, with this SAR. And I found out there was a paperwork snafu from when it was submitted in September. So it has been resubmitted for February. And luckily, it's twice a year at least they allow you to submit paperwork. So we're kind of beginning the process again. That means I don't expect to really hear anything until May, but I'd love to be able to announce that in May as part of the Preservation Month activities of something on the horizon. Won't be done by May for sure, but I was disappointed to hear the paperwork snafu, but I was glad to hear that they were motivated to immediately resubmit, fix the paperwork problem. I mean, they found it, not me. So, and it may trigger some more Westminster cemeteries being marked with patriots, which is what we want all these activities to do: is trigger more, right? Sort of continue people's interest. I know that it's St. Benjamin's Lutheran Cemetery and the Crider's Joint Cemetery. There are patriots. That is within city boundaries, not in the historic district, but it's in city boundaries. And I would think they would be good people to approach because I'm the chair of that cemetery too. So if we get this one through, I hope to get more. All right. Do we have any comment from Mr. Depot?
The habitable neighborhood overlay for 222 East Green Street was approved by the mayor and county council. Okay, good. So the mayor and common council approved now this is just the allowance that they can actually do the development. The next step is a site development plan. We get more in the engineering of it. And, but again, I think a lot of the elements, the building being set back, things like that. I know you weren't too happy about the 4 stories, but the 4 stories was found acceptable. I think the architecture came out, I think they added that relief that makes it look more like row homes versus just a flat.
Yeah.
Wall.
House.
Yeah. Yep. We're now still working for this, a little bit outside of downtown, the 2/2 condos up off behind off of 140 behind the diner and the car wash. There's a piece of land back there. We're looking at 40 2/2 condos. They look like townhouses, the 2/2 being the first floor. First 2 floors is one condo, 3 and 4 is the second condo, hence 2/2. It's a product the county doesn't have. That village, the Sullivan, we have people looking at potential redeveloping that for multifamily housing. So we're really getting interest for residential market rate housing in Westminster, which is great now that we have water. I mean, the 222 East Green Street project, I think it's just having more population downtown would be nice. Stockdale is picking up as well for potential redevelopment. City owns that one. So you're going to start to see, it's nice to see we're getting this interest and people are actually looking at Westminster. And we had a moratorium for years because we didn't have water. Now that we have it, people want to live here and it's a nice place to live. We have somebody interested in Vince's Seafood. They have a demo permitted now for interior. They want to save the building. But we've asked for architecturals for the exterior that we're going to bring to the HDC once we get that. I don't think they're going to do any substantive changes other than maybe painting, but we'll see. But there's a lot of other issues they have to do on site that unfortunately may stall this project. Hopefully it doesn't because we want to see it used. Been nice to have it redeveloped, but so we do have interest in that. So that's about it for some activity that's happening downtown.
So Kathy, you're the expert, but as I recall reading from just south of Gettysburg, there was a reason for someone to shoot off a cannon at Vince's Seafood. Up Pennsylvania Avenue, there was a shot fired.
Oh,
And there was one shot fired because they thought that we were being invaded.
That was the general store. So I had this really gaudy fountain. I'm trying to see it in the image. But we don't have the fountain anymore.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I knew you had the fountain, but I wanted it for Historical Society's backyard.
Oh,
So it's pretty, and, being the ports and Irish Town and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
but they could get another artillery gun and set it there and I wouldn't object. Oh.
That's a nice
crowded.
I know, and I bet they never shot anything for World War II there. All righty. Well, apparently, Melissa, do you have any more substantive things to add?
Sure. I just want to mention that Tim Kyle has completed his project at 160 West Main Street. That would have been the house repair and the main chimney and the cottage roof replacement and framing repair. So he wasn't available tonight to attend. So it will be an April agenda item for post-construction tax credit report. And just want to make mention that our Westminster Wednesdays downtown event, which occurs at the same night as this meeting, kicks off. However, since it is only 7 o'clock, and if this happens next month, retailers and restaurants, specifically retailers, will be open till 8. Restaurants are typically open later, so something to look forward to
starts in April.
in April.
We could adjourn to go have a drink somewhere.
Yes, we
Oh.
could. And go shopping. So it would be
Alright.
nice to support our local community. And of course, the Peep Show's coming up in April at the mall. That location there, I think it's April 11th. Is that when that begins? And we have our Celtic Cantor event this weekend downtown. It's a lot going on. A lot. We love it. So I think that's it for me.
Right. Well, thank you, Melissa. And with that, I will ask if we can move to adjournment. Is everybody in agreement? Then we're adjourned.